And I got to ask you, so the injury, because rugby, it's such a, I'm not as familiar with the game, but it's more violent. It's sort of closer to American football. I don't feel like that's a not natural transition to go from rugby to like a top skiller, to do soccer tricks. How did that work? I mean, were you just always kind of, did you like it before, or what made you dive into that?
Yeah, I think I'm like the only person that's ever gone from rugby into freestyle football, especially to the level of freestyle that I got to. But yeah, I think it's just, I don't know. I've when I was growing up, I just tried every different sport, and rugby was one that I loved a lot. But the thing with freestyle that I liked is the individual aspect of it. I've always been more of an individual sportsman. Even when I played football and when I played rugby, I was very individual with it. And with football, I never passed the ball when I played. I used to just dribble through everyone and score goals. And like everyone on the team kind of hated me, but at the same time, they loved me because I'd win the games for them.
Right.
But they never got the ball. And with freestyle, I don't have to pass the ball. So I guess it kind of was meant to be really when I started that. And actually, when I started freestyle, I wasn't that good at all. Like it took me ages to learn the basic tricks, like around the world. It's kind of like the most sort of fundamental trick in freestyle, the most popular trick. Took me way longer than most of my friends, but I stuck with it. And then once I started learning the basics, then I just progressed at a rapid rate and went on from there. Usually, like typically a freestyle tournament, like a world championships or national championships, um, they have a select amount of players. So a lot of the time for the worlds, they have like the top 32 players will go into the tournament based off the rankings from other tournaments. And the structure of the tournament is you have like qualification rounds and stuff like that. But once you go through that, it's like straight knockout stages, kind of like in the World Cup of football. But you're on the stage, circular stage usually, and you're 1v1 against your opponent. You're battling essentially. It's like a freestyle battle.
Oh,
So
wow. That's
there's
cool.
3 minutes on the clock. I got the ball for 30 seconds. I pass to you for 30 seconds, back to me for 30 seconds. So we have 3 rounds, 30 seconds each. And then the judges decide who wins based on, there's a few different factors like technical difficulty, the flow and style of the moves, variation, sort of all round performance, creativity. Coming up with new tricks in freestyle is a big deal. And how you combine them with transitions is a big deal, and responding to your opponent as well. Like if he does a double around the world, you might be like, hey, okay. And then you do a triple around the world, you're going to get extra points for the response and like leveling up what they did. And obviously, not repeating tricks throughout the competition is a big deal, and not dropping the ball. Although we are trying really hard tricks. So drops do happen in competitions a lot because you're pushing the limits. Yeah, so I was 16 when I broke my leg. Broke my leg in 5 places, got a metal plate and 9 screws in there.
Mm.
And then by the time I was 17, I became UK champion in freestyle by the end of that year. So about a year and a half later. Yeah, so when I was 17, won the UK nationals, and then by the time I was 19, won the worlds for the first time. Yeah.
So how long did it take to recover from that injury? Or were you starting to watch videos, learn about it? Did you have a plan? When did you decide that's what you wanted to do? And it sounds like it would be some decent recovery time, right? Or could you practice some things while you were still sort of injured?
Yeah, so I got told that initially when I broke it, they were like, "There's a good chance you won't ever be able to walk again," and because they had to do so many different operations on it, it was a really complex break, and they were like, "Well, you probably be able to walk again, but there's a chance you won't. But even if you do, you're definitely not going to be able to play sport again, and um, if you do, it won't be any contact sports." And I was like, that was just the worst feeling ever because that's all I cared about was playing sport. So as a 16-year-old kid that wanted to be a professional athlete, to be told never going to play sport again was just like heartbreaking. But during my recovery, seeing freestyle football skills, learning the basics, even when my leg was in its cast, I was trying to balance the ball in my head and stuff like that. So I could focus on something even when I was recovering. and I think that helped me develop a passion for it. Like, no pun intended, but it helped me get back on my feet essentially, and gave me some motivation. When I started walking again, started juggling the ball, started balancing on my foot, doing the basics, and then it just went from there. And just kept training, kept trying to learn new skills. And one thing that I think really helped me progress rapidly was just being so grateful and appreciative that I can just like even kick the ball again, let alone like learn skills. So I was like, okay, I've just got to get better. No excuses. Every day, hard
Yeah.
work. Appreciate every day. So yeah, it was quite a big one.
You referenced there was a guy, Mr. Wu, legend of freestyle from South Korea. Was this one of the original guys that you saw that motivated you, or thought you maybe you could take this career path?
100%. Yeah, Mr. Wu is a legend of freestyle. He must be like sort of late 50s, early 60s. He's approaching 60, I would say. I wouldn't say he's quite yet 60 years old, but an absolute legend of the game. And you know, he was before social media and that sort of thing. You know, there are clips of him online that you guys can find, but he was doing the original Nike ads. He was working with all the players, like, you know, 20 plus years ago, 30 years ago. And, you know, he was a world champion as well about 20 years ago, I think. So, yeah, he definitely paved the way for the sport. And for me, watching him, seeing him doing crazy skills that I thought were fake the first time I saw them,
Right.
yeah, it just blew my mind that someone could have that much control with a football. I found that more impressive than anything I'd seen with a football, even on the pitch, like during games, people scoring crazy goals. I thought, how can this guy keep the ball off the ground for 20 minutes doing crazy skills that I've never seen anyone else be able to do in front of thousands of people? And it looks easy to him. He's smiling, waving at them whilst doing the hardest tricks. Like, I want to be able to do that one day. And I think that was really inspiring, Mr. Wu. And then I've met him a few times now, and he sings as well. He's a mad man. He's a crazy guy, but he's a funny guy. And yeah, he sings a lot, and he's cool. So yeah, it's cool to be able to meet him and hang out with him as well. Yeah, so I've broke about 5 or 6 Guinness World Records officially, but unofficially I hold about, yeah, maybe like I've broken maybe like 20 different ones. But sometimes the way things go, you need to keep that consistent practice with the moves to maintain that level, and then the time it takes to go and do the records and things like that, it's hard to fit in. But the two that I had there, I need to update that side a little bit. But the two that I had there, I think one was Maradona sevens, most Maradona sevens in a minute. I think, yeah, I've actually got them up here. I don't know if I can flip it, but I've got those Guinness World Records up here. Maybe I can show you. I'll just bring it.
Yeah,
I might just turn this.
Give us some flair. Let's see what's going on. Let's see the trophy. All right.
See those ones up there?
Okay, that's official. That's legit.
You got nice. Yeah. There we go.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, I got those 2 ones up there. That's actually one's for rugby freestyle up there, which is a bit crazy. That's another thing I just pursued as a passion project. Really, I kind of made it up. I think like no one was really doing rugby freestyle. It's not really a sport, but because I could play rugby and I got the freestyle skills, I thought, why not combine it? So one was doing tricks with the rugby ball, one was doing the Maradona sevens. I also broke one doing soul juggles, which is where you're lying down the floor doing tricks with the soles of your feet. The most longest time doing that. And then
how long is that? Because that seems very difficult, but obviously, you know, is that more endurance and stamina, or just like because you could kind of go forever, right? At some point,
exactly. It is one of those ones like once you get good at it, you can just keep doing it. It feels like you're kind of riding a bike. Once you learn how to ride the bike and you got the basics, it's just about riding it. But the thing with soldier is it hurts your core.
That's what I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's one of those like what is it and how long? Hours? I mean, a minute? Like,
yeah, I can't remember exactly the amount of time, but I know it's not hours. It's definitely less. It's less than 30 minutes.
Oh,
but
wow.
It's like, yeah, once you hit about like 5-6 minutes, your core starts burning so much. So the reason I retired actually is a couple of things. But so firstly, my goal was to be like outright the best freestyler ever. And to get 5 world titles. And at the time when I got it, no one had got more than 2. I just wanted to be in my own field, like that no one can touch me, be the best and get 5. And the other two reasons, the next one's not such a nice reason, but it's kind of politics in the sport, you know, like I didn't agree with certain ways of how it was going and things like that. So, you know, yeah, I had other stuff going on as well.
Right.
So I decided to follow that. And then the final one, which is an exciting one, is I always like training martial arts, and I always wanted to compete in martial arts, and I couldn't when I was competing in a high level of freestyle, because I just had to focus on that. So I was like, once I've achieved my goals in the sport, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna compete in mixed martial arts and start training, competing in that. And I had a fight in that, and I'm building up to the next ones now. And that's like a big thing that I'm doing. And I think people are excited about that. My audience are excited about that. They're a bit kind of shocked, but I think they're excited about it too. So that's another thing that I'm focused on. And of course, I'm still working with the players, still working with some of the best players in the world, still traveling around doing freestyle, still performing. I also manage other freestylers. So I'm very much in the freestyle world still as well.